Well, hello, my friends. JW here, and welcome to another brand new episode of Dunswell Zoo. It's a lovely sunny day here in the zoo, but it is chilly, and I thought that would be the perfect opportunity for us to go ahead and check out the completed Himalayan Heights area, the first area within our Asia zone here at the zoo. So before we get stuck in, if you do like this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, helps the channel grow. There will be a slight increase in the amount of videos coming to the channel, but don't expect habitat builds all of the time. Most of them are just going to be, here's the changes what's going to be happening. And that's not just for Dunswell Zoo, that's for Eastlake and the channel as a whole as well. With that said, let's get stuck in. So we're here at our World Plaza. So we have our entrance behind us and the exit. We have Australasia over to the right, we have Africa straight in front of us, we have Asia just over there, and then sort of behind us and to the left we have South America. You can see the roof there of Expedition Ecuador in the distance. We're going to head down into Asia, and yeah, I'm really excited, so let's get stuck in. This ramp needs a little bit of improvement. My ramps still aren't great. We'll get around to it at some point. But as you descend into the Asia zone, you descend sort of beneath this bamboo, and you can sort of see the monorail sort of peeking through, and that's absolutely fine. That's completely intentional. But then on your left, you've got these lovely sort of... this is just a blueprint from the base game, and then some statues. So with the exception of the giant panda, all of these species can be found within the Asia section. Of course, the red pandas are the only ones what can be found in the Himalayan area. And it does sort of stick out like a sore thumb that the Himalayan one is coloured and the rest are all sort of stone, but it's Planet Zoo for you. And we're not having Japanese macaques, but we will have other macaque species. And of course got our monorail there. And so we're into Himalayan Heights. So on this board we have silhouettes for 6 of the 8 species? 8. Definitely 8, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 species. We have 6 of the 8 on there. As you first enter, you have the wild yak over on your right. They are a vulnerable species. We have 3 females and 1 male. They aren't breeding at the moment just because this habitat for me is a little bit small. I can't imagine this housing the calves as well as sort of the big male and the 3 females, because they are significantly larger than the domesticated yak. But yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. We may well breed these animals in the near future. A little bit of lag there. And yeah, the habitat's fine. You know, it sort of turned out more or less how I wanted it to. A little bit on the small side, as I said, but still more than enough room as far as the game's concerned. And then over on our left we have the... Oops, sorry, before I jump ahead. So the 3 females we have here, we have Ying Tai, Huqing and Zhaolian. Those are our 3 females, and then the male is called Ang, and you'll be able to tell the difference between the males and the females purely due to the size. The males are significantly larger than the females. I do think we have our 3 females out at the moment and the male is inside. But then over on the left we have the near threatened black-necked crane, and you can get some views from the outside before you hit the bird hide, but the main idea is that you would go inside and view the birds from there, which is exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. So we've got our bird hide. It is stepped access, there isn't a ramp, but you could sort of drag a wheelchair up here, I sort of guess. It's only like 3 steps. And then here we have a lovely themed indoor area for our black-necked crane. So there's some donation here, and we've got these lovely panels. And then again, there's cranes on the side of this. It's all come together really nicely. I just went for a blue theming because red is more of a Chinese theming, whereas the blue is, of course, a little bit more in keeping with our colder climate for the Himalayan area anyway. So we currently have 6 black-necked cranes, and you can see them here enjoying their water, their various different water enrichments. They've got a large natural pool, pond thing, and then there's this raised up one which we can fill with little insects and fish for them to catch and eat, things like that. So we have 2 females called Sophia, I think, yeah, Sophia, and Chiku. I mean, look at this for a view. Wow. Wow. Love it. So yeah, we have 2 females, which are Sophia and Chiku. We have 2 males, which are Wakesa and Timani. And then we have 2 juveniles, 2 chicks. And they are both male. And they are Kondo and Jahi. And I can see one of the chicks making a massive leap there into that raised pool. Just over there. And then I don't know where the other chick is, but it'll be around somewhere. Oh, there it is. Just there. So yeah, we can actually have more in here, and the intention is to get more. We just started off with 2 males and 2 females so that they'd pair off and have chicks, and that's exactly what they've done. They've had 1 each, and they're both male, so we'll be looking to get some females in. This habitat can definitely house a few more cranes, sort of comfortably. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this habitat turned out. Whee, look at them run. And were they able to fly in the game, they would be able to fly in this zoo enclosure, just because of the length of it. So that's really handy as well. So we'll move on. And we don't actually see any animals for a bit. There we go. I think that's our male there. You can see how big they are. Lovely. So yeah, and then you get some more chances for outdoor viewing for the cranes here. And then I did go ahead and update this, so you can now see quite clearly, even in the glaring sun, how big wild yaks are compared to humans, and how bigger they are compared to domestic yak. So know your yaks. But yeah, no animals for a little bit for the Himalayan zone. So on our left we've got some staff facilities, and then on our right we've just got some planting. And then you can see the monorail re-emerge here, and then that disappears behind the trees again. And straight in front of us we have the Red Panda Plaza. And as you enter the plaza, you're greeted with these 2 statues, and then some seating, some sort of decorative bells, and then the gift shop. To your left, underneath the monorail, you have the gateway to South America. And down there takes you to the giant anteaters and coatis. And then to the right, that will take you through to the Indo-Gangetic Plain, which is a continuation of the Asian area. And then we have food and drink back there. We have toilets in the corner there, and we have staff here. I'll just nip over to the toilets in the corner. So you can see there's the wooden signs there that say push, and then the closer we get, they'll eventually disappear, and it's just the text. I'm going to change that for some of the null signs, just so it stops that popping, because I think the popping looks really horrible. If we could recolour the wood that the signs were on, that would be better, but we can't, unfortunately. So we'll head into a gift shop then. So it's just a nice little gift shop. I've tried to make it as Asian themed as possible. But that's a bit difficult because for the gift shop it's all quite generic stuff, there isn't a lot of specific stuff. But what we do have is sort of red panda balloons, tiger balloons, we have these themed posters, we have these themed posters, and these posters sort of go around, of course. So we've got the cobra, which we don't have in the game, cobra again, which we don't have in the game, tiger, gharial, peafowl, elephant, and then of course just the generic hats, none of which are Asian, they're all African with the exception of the spider hat. And then the masks, we have the red panda mask, of course, the tiger could be Asian as well. But then on the other side I have tried to make it a little bit more Asian themed, tried being the operative word. So we've got the masks again with the tiger and the red panda. The mugs, just sort of mugs. The Planet Zoo caps. We've got these panda statues, which I thought were really cute. We've got the pangolin and the Japanese macaque posters. We've got the snow leopard caps, which is very Asian. And then we've got tiger posters, panda posters, and then lion posters. And I've just sort of put this one here because you could like blag it and say, oh, it's an Asiatic lion. And then t-shirts. I don't know why the textures are so blurry and weird, but they are what they are. Again, you know, you've got the tigers on there and just sort of generic t-shirts. And then the bags as well. You've got the Przewalski's horse, and then generic bags, lemurs as well. So just a little gift shop, just something to fill the space really. Then we come back out, and then the food and drink area, it's got this planter. It's got like a little stall with some fake fruits on it, and this little tuk-tuk. And the tuk-tuk is actually in the colours of the Indian flag. Little nod there. And then we've got within the Red Panda Plaza, we've got the little food court area. So you've got Chief Beef, Hot Dog Squad, and Cosmic Cow. There's an information desk at the back. There's some more toilets at the back. And then we've got Gulpy. I think that's Gulpy Sud, that one. And then that's Gulpy Energy. And then we have Pip Shot Smoothies nestled in the back here. And then there's obviously seating in the middle. But if that's not enough seating for you, don't worry, because there is more seating upstairs and outside, of course. It is quite a large plaza. It's quite empty. But I don't think we need to fill it with anything at the moment. I think we're fine as we are. So we're just going to head up here. And to our left, we have the monorail station. And the seating up here, and we can potentially put a couple more tables in. But we want to keep this as clear as possible for people leaving. Because obviously they'll be coming out of this gate here. I've just put some tables next to it so you can sit, and I think kids in particular would quite enjoy waiting to see the monorail coming to the station. And there's some more seats over at this side. And then on the right hand side we have the Himalayan, which is our restaurant, which recently got a small upgrade that I don't think I showed on the channel or Instagram, so I'll go ahead and show you that. So this is one side of the Himalayan. So you've got your food serving hatches at this side, and you can sort of see your food being prepared and stuff like that. And we've now got windows in it, which is a new feature. So you'd be able to look down into whichever animal is going to be in this big habitat down here. And this side has less tables, could potentially add some more tables in here, but they won't be connected to the restaurant because there is a limit on how many tables you can connect to the restaurant. And again, windows at this side, and you can look down into this habitat and see what animals are going to be in here. I like this view quite a bit because you can see the back of the Himalayan Manal habitat, and then there's the rockwork. It looks really cool. And although this is not Himalayan themed at all, it's the closest we have in the game, so I've just put that on there. Need to put a door on the inside bit, forgot about that. But we're going to head out into the Himalayan Heights, the rest of it anyway. It does start, of course, with the yak and the crane. So you'll be able to see the monorail here as it ascends, which also gives you that illusion that you're heading higher into the mountains. And we get lots of good views up here. So we go up this stony, sandy path, and you can get some more views of the animals that are going to be down here in the first habitat of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. And then you head up here and try not to be blinded by the sun bouncing off the roof of Expedition Ecuador. And again, there's that monorail ascending. I do need to put something here to sort of block that view a little bit, because at the minute, technically, you can just walk off here. And then A, you can get far too close to the monorail for health and safety inspectors' preference, and B, you would fall into this ravine, which is just sort of planted for natural habitat for like birds and hedgehogs and insects, things like that. But we walk under these gates and we encounter our next animals, which is pretty much everyone's favourite, the red pandas. So we have two habitats for our red pandas. Both habitats have red pandas in them, and perfectly timed, we have two of the three here. So in our first red panda habitat, we have Changming, our male, and Ying, our female. They are our original red pandas. They were introduced into the habitat on day 1, and they've had two cubs since then. The first cub, Du Yi, is living next door on his own at the moment. He's grown up, and the current cub is a male as well, and is called Mingli. And Mingli will be moving on to another collection when he is old enough, but for now he's enjoying living with mum and dad in this habitat. Red pandas are of course endangered, unfortunately. Here comes Mingli now, I believe. Yep. They're so cute. Just like small versions of red pandas. I love them. Whee! Little bit of weirdness going on there. That's Planet Zoo for you. Yeah, they're adorable. So yeah, the red pandas are quite happy in this habitat. They've got a lot of climbing opportunities. Unfortunately, this at the back is non-usable for the red pandas because of the ridiculous hitboxes in Planet Zoo. But in real life, they would be able to access this and sort of go in there, and that would be their accommodation. They do have some accommodation back there. I need to do something with that because it just looks a bit meh. But nonetheless, it's really cool seeing 3 red pandas here just walking around. And then of course next door we have our other male, our other grown up cub. See if we can spot him. See in the trees. I'm looking for Du Yi. No sign of him. Oops. Yeah, he might be inside, unless I'm just being blind and I can't see him. Yeah, I reckon Du Yi's inside. That's not a problem. But he's in here. And yeah, he will be getting a female companion soon. And they will be breeding once. And then Du Yi is going to retire from the breeding program because we don't want the genetics to be overrepresented. So we'll find a home for him where he can live out the rest of his days in peace and quiet. I'm thinking we maybe send him to East Lake. I think that would be quite a nice place for him. And then over on our right here, we've got the main staff facilities for this area. And then we have our Himalayan Manal. We have 2 habitats for the Himalayan Manal, and we have 9 Himalayan Manal in total. In the first habitat, which is this one here, we have 4, and then in the second habitat, which is the one down the end of the path, we have 5. So in this one we have 1 male called Ayus. We have one female called Jasmine, and we have 2 juveniles, and they're both male, and they're called Ekbal and Ayushman. These are obviously names generated by the game. And we actually get a really good shot here because we've got the male in the back, the female in the front. We've got one of the chicks down here, and the other chick is there over on the other side. So this is the first habitat for them. Then the... oh, I like seeing the male. Oh god, my voice is going. Do apologise. The male is at the back there with his colourful plumage. So they are least concern, so once these juveniles grow up they will be going to another collection just to ensure that there is a genetically diverse captive population of Himalayan manals. And then in the second habitat we have Kabir, our male. Let's see if we can spot them. They're always harder to spot in this habitat, and I don't know why. Probably, there they are, they're inside, yeah. So there's the male and the female running towards us. That's cute. So yeah, we have Kabir and Ahana, which are the male and the female we're looking at now. And then they've got 3 chicks. One of them has just come into shot. We have 1 male and 2 females. And we have Rhodus, which is our male. And then the females are Kashmir and Sayuma. How close is this male going to get to us? That's really cool. So moving on, we then have some more statues. You can if I can speak, you can continue to get some views of the red panda from here as well. Not that you stand a better chance at seeing Dayu, because he is probably inside. Do ye, not Dayu. And then from here you get some really cool views, again, of the Indo-Gangetic plain. So you'd be able to see which animals in that habitat, or habitats, because that's a really large space. And then that view sort of disappears behind the tree line. You will also technically be able to see Africa from here as well. So the brown line is the border between the zones. So you'll be able to see Africa from here as well, which is really cool. So then one of our newer habitats, on the right here we have the Pallas's cat. We have 2 Pallas's cat. They are female. They are sisters called Lily and Petunia, and they are least concern. So we've got no reason to breed them at the moment, but we may do in the future, but that would mean moving one of the sisters out. We can see them both here actually. So here's one on the rocks, and the other one is just down here, giving us the evils. Grumpy cats. So yeah, quite happy with this habitat. It could maybe be a little bit bigger, just to... don't know what the vet's doing up there. Let's ignore that. Yeah, it could maybe do with being a little bit bigger, but we'll work with what we can work with. And the snow leopard habitat behind it, that does need to be reduced in size, so we can potentially move the back wall back a bit and give the Pallas's cats a bit more room. But they do have enough room as far as the game's concerned, and they are non-breeding, so that's fine. They're both sisters, they get along really well. So yeah, that's that. And then next to that we have the Ussuri dhole. Now, the Ussuri dholes are endangered, and when we first built this habitat there was 2 Ussuri dholes. In fact, there was one of them now. We had a male and a female. The male was Nanjiket and the female was Sarika. And every time we checked in on them, they hadn't bred. And we were really disappointed because we wanted them to breed. Well, I'm very pleased to tell you, and hopefully we'll get to see them at some point today, that they had 2 pups. and we've got one male and one female, and the male is called Krish and the female is called Aria. So Krish and Aria, and again, hopefully we'll be able to see them today. There we go. They're just popping out now. They're still quite small, but I'm really happy that they've bred. And I haven't posted this on Instagram yet, and I haven't shown it in another video because I wanted to keep it a surprise for the tour. And yeah, the only thing I don't like about this habitat is this. Nobody wants to see this, but unfortunately, just because of the way Planet Zoo works, the hitboxes are too big, so this had to be opened up to allow them to move through. But yeah, we've got two pups, a male and a female, and then we've got mum and dad, of course. And the hope is that this pack will continue to grow and it'll become a family group, and we'll move certain members out to other collections to set up their own packs and things like that. But for now, we're definitely focused on building the numbers of our own pack, and I'm really, really pleased that they finally bred. Such a good conservation story for the zoo. But yeah, you can get lots of viewing from here, and you can also get some viewing from this alley here, which gives you some outdoor viewing opportunities. And as you move further and further down, you'll notice that the hedge gets higher and higher, and that's just to give the dolls some more privacy. And you get to some points where you can't see them at all, and then it dips again a little bit, and then it'll move back up again. And that's just to give the dolls some privacy. And then of course you get to the end here, and maybe put something in there, not 100% sure yet. And then again you get some more viewing opportunities from the end here. And then eventually this hedge just gets too high and too thick, and the grass at the other side is quite high as well. And I think that's the best view you're going to get from down here. And then of course you move on to the next habitat, but we're not going to do that just yet. So we're going to head back the way we came, and we're going to go see the neighbours of the Pallas's cat, the snow leopards. So we're just going to zoom past the Pallas's cats. And then we have our snow leopards on the right. So there's two habitats for the snow leopards. The snow leopards are of course vulnerable, unfortunately. And we've got a male and a female and two kittens. So we have our male is called Charlie. He's in another habitat. And then in this massive habitat, what we're looking at now, we have our female and the two cubs. So the female is called Maxine, and the two cubs, we have one male and one female, and the male's called Naran and the female is called Kara. And both of them will be moving on to other collections when they're old enough. And when they do, we'll mix Maxine and Charlie together while we reduce the footprint of this habitat. Because although it's a really good habitat for snow leopards, you can see back there, that is a fully grown female snow leopard, and she's tiny in this habitat. So we definitely need to sort of squidge everything forward and clip sort of the back part of the habitat off, and then we can potentially expand the Pallas's cat habitat. But yeah, we'll move on in. So you do have some indoor viewing, and this, oh look at that, great timing, there we go. So we've got the mum here, which is Maxine, and we've got the two cubs, which is Kara and Naran. Whee! That's so cute. So this indoor viewing is based off Chester Zoo and Northumberland Zoo here in the UK. They both have indoor viewing for their snow leopards, and it's a similar-ish sort of setup to this. So I just wanted to put my own spin on it. And let's have a look what they were running for. Oh, they're playing with the meat. Neat. But again, this is a fully grown female, and it's just tiny. You can see the cubs are smaller still. So definitely this habitat needs reducing in size. And we've got some sort of Himalayan conservation issues. So pangolin and climate change. And we've got some snow leopard snow leopard education. And then over at this side we have our male, and there he is. Here's Charlie. So again, nice big indoor area, much bigger than what Chester Zoo offer their snow leopards. I think it's probably on par with Northumberland Zoo for their snow leopards. But Charlie does have access to an offshore den, as do the female and the two cubs. And then Charlie also has access to this outdoor area, which again is still quite big, but you know, it's not as big as the other one. This one's much better for snow leopard viewing, because we've got the enrichment and the platforms down at the front, and then you can sort of see some of the enrichment at the back. Got one of the line pull things here. It's a little cave that they can go into, and then there's just some trees here that act as a little break up from the usual greys of the rock. So then on our left, when we come out with the snow leopards, we have this habitat which is completely obscured by hedges and trees, and that's one of the Himalayan brown bear habitats, which is the newest addition to the Himalayan Heights area. It's also the final addition to the Himalayan Heights area. Still got a little bit of planting to do along this side, but nothing major really. Then on our left we have the first Himalayan brown bear habitat, which is this massive habitat, and it's got two dens, one at either side. So there's one here and there's one at the other side. Again, because of the hitboxes, we have to see this ugly wall and stuff, and yeah, but we'll get there. And then we've got this pool to play in, and we've got the trees with the tree collars so they can't climb any higher than that. Yeah, I just really like how his habitat turned out. And we'll continue to the left, and we'll get another viewing opportunity for the Himalayan brown bear. So we only have two at the moment, and the Himalayan brown bears are critically endangered. We have a male called Bruno and a female called Lakshmi. They were both rescued from zoos in Russia. They were found in really poor conditions, and thankfully they were unrelated genetically, so we were able to breed them. They were mixed in here when we built this, and months later I'm very happy to confirm that we've now separated them, because we're pretty sure Lakshmi is pregnant. So what we're doing is we're rotating the bears between this habitat and the habitat what's behind this rock wall, and Bruno will have access some days and Lakshmi will have access some days. And when Lakshmi starts to really show that she's pregnant, we'll give her access to the cubbing den and the nursery paddock, and she'll be able to give birth there and raise her cubs away from the public. There's no public viewing to the nursery pen whatsoever. It's completely offshore to the public. It doesn't look like either of the bears are playing ball today. I think we've got Bruno in here. He's probably asleep inside. And then this habitat here is the other habitat I was talking about. So there's the rock wall, and then this is the other habitat. Here we go. So here's Lakshmi, our female. She's much smaller and darker in colour when compared to Bruno, our male. And this habitat, size-wise, is still absolutely fine for the Himalayan brown bear. I think in a real zoo, I would probably put a bit more screening in here. It's quite open, there's not a lot of privacy. for Lakshmi. But obviously with Dunswell Zoo, just the sheer size of the zoo and the amount that's going to be on offer, this area is never going to be like thronged with people. So it'll probably just be at most like 10 people viewing this habitat. But in a real zoo, I would definitely still put a bit more screening in, just to give Lakshmi a bit more privacy. I think she's actually gone inside as well now, which is brilliant. So we'll head on up to the viewing pavilion. So you're heading up this ramp, and you're greeted with 3 sort of areas. So to your right, you have the educational talk area. We've got the talk point here, we've got the seating here, and then Lakshmi can come up here if she wants. There is more of a gap than there appears to be here, so she can't actually jump, so we don't need to worry about that. This is the only area that you can see the nursery paddock and the cubbing den, things like that. I think in the event of us having cubs, which will hopefully be someday soon, we will probably just bring this fencing right along here and sort of fence it off so people can't view this habitat, just to give Lakshmi and the cubs as much privacy as possible. That's because hopefully those bears will be able to be released back into the wild, so we don't want them to become accustomed to humans. But yeah, really happy with both habitats, to be honest. Well, all 3 habitats technically. And then back here you have just a little seating area. How do you measure up? A little seating area, some little pollinator gardens, and the bear statue, and some donation, because you can view the bears from down here as well. Don't think there's any sign of Bruno. I think he's spending the day in bed. So yeah, you can just sit here and wait for the talk to start, or if those seats are full, you can sit here and listen to the talk, stuff like that. There's a photo opportunity with a bear statue, which is just something nice. And then over here you've got issues sort of threatening the Himalayas. So you've got repair of the ozone layer, climate change, and then save the bees, just because pollinators and things like that. And then you get another view here of the bear habitat. And then you can get another view. There he is. There's our big male Bruno. Get another view of the bear habitat from here. And he's actually going to go ahead and play with the food enrichment, I think. Whee. Brilliant. I love it. Is he going to do it again? He is. So yeah, well, look, I could sit here all day and watch him eat. We would better wrap this tour up. So that brings us to the end of the Himalayan Heights, or the beginning, depending which way you come in. If you're coming in from the next area, the Himalayan brown bear would be the first thing you'd see. The next area that we're going to work on for Asia is Mysteries of Manchuria, which is this area here. And I've already started laying some things out, so we'll go ahead and pop out of... Oh, I did not want to do that. Yeah, we'll just pop over and see the Great Curacao. Where are we? Yeah, so essentially this here is the Himalayan area. So it's got this big bit here, and then there's these 2 habitats up front. So the next area is Mysteries of Manchuria, or Manchurian mystery. It's not quite decided which way around I'm going to label it. But you enter into this little plaza area, and there's rocks here, and then there's going to be some planting at this side, and then you will enter a building on the left, and then obviously we're going to extend out that way as well. And then here we're going to have the Chinese alligator, the Cabot's tragopan, the Reeves's pheasant, the Formosan black bear, the Francois Langer and black muntjac, and the Chinese pangolin. There are some other species which won't be in the building, and they'll be in aviaries and habitats elsewhere. And yeah, the theme with Mysteries of Manchuria, or Manchurian Mysteries, is that the animals are either endangered, critically endangered, or extinct in the wild. And that was what I wanted to go for this area, and that's why they're mysteries, because they're so rare that people either don't know about them or they're very rarely seen, things like that. There'll be a couple of exceptions to that. I think it comes as no surprise that the Amur leopard and the Amur tiger will both be in this area. Both of those are known within the zoo community, particularly Amur leopards, particularly Amur tigers rather. So yeah, that's what's coming next for the Asian area. We're working on the Mysteries of Manchuria. Still got the 3 habitats to do in Adventure Andes. So we've got a habitat for the cod, we've got a habitat for the yellow-tailed woolly monkey, and then we've got the habitat for the huemul. And then we've also got miniature monkeys, which has replaced capybara springs. So in here we're going to have our tamarins and marmosets. The capybara will get in a different habitat in the Atlantic forest, which was the next port of call. So the Atlantic forest we've still got to do, and then penguins of Patagonia as well. And then once we've completed the Atlantic forest and penguins of Patagonia and the 3 habitats here and this, that will complete the South America section of Dunswell Zoo completely. And then the rest of this area back here, which is quite a lot. So we've got the Indo-Gangetic Plain to fit in. We've got Arabia, or the Meadows of the Mongol, I think I called it. And then the big area is Southeast Asia, which is going to be really heavily themed, and there's going to be a river ride, and it's going to be sort of my version of Islands at Chester Zoo, which I absolutely love. I think it's one of the best sort of themed areas in a zoo in the UK. So that's going to be that. And then between Australasia and the Brown Line, we've got Africa to fit in here. Again, might be a bit of a tight squeeze in parts, but we'll get it in, I'm quite sure about that. And then we've also got some tweaks to make to Australasia. These are not purple. I don't know why they're showing up purple, but they're blue, so ignore the fact that they look purple. So we've got the wetland aviary to put in here, and then there are 3 or 4 habitats in the nocturnal house which are getting new inhabitants, and then there's 1 habitat in here which is going to be really unique, and that's going to go in there. So yeah, we've still got plenty to do in Dunswell Zoo, so it's not going anywhere, do not worry about that. So yeah, next episode, I don't know when it'll be out, and I don't know what it's going to be about. It might be the huemul, because I've just finished the new Andean bear habitats. It might be the huemul, or it might be starting work on the Mysteries of Manchuria. I genuinely don't know. But my friends, that brings us to the end of this tour, and the end of this video. So we'll go ahead and pop ourselves in a habitat, and we'll wrap things up. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the support, thank you for sticking around. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if indeed you've liked this video and you want to support the channel. Those can only be really good things. You can find me on Instagram at jw_yt, and I shall see you all in the next video. Whether that be the next episode of Dunswell Zoo, whether that be an update video, or whether that be an East Lake video, I've not decided yet. But I will certainly see you in the next video. So until then, my friends, thank you for watching once again. Stay safe, stay kind, and bye-bye for now.